me ask you some questions about Dr. Greger. I want to know some of your own personal success secrets, because you've been doing this for a while. You seem to have an abundance of energy. You're pretty damn good on social media. You just did a YouTube live here, which is great as well. But just some questions for you. First of all, just about success. When you think about the word success and who is successful in your mind, alive or dead, what's that person that comes to mind?
I think, to me, kind of my heroes are heroes of science. I mean, heroes of, so it's the Galileos of the world who said, regardless of what society says, there's actual kind of empirical proof of X, Y, and Z. And actually, in his case, it's a bad example because he kind of made up a lot of his data, it appears. And he actually was, he's lionized because he was right. But in fact, Newton made up some stuff too. But again, they were all right, and so we kind of forgive them for some of their data fraud. But I mean, these were the people that stood up for the evidence, despite what social convention was, despite what religious convention was. So and out of this, and one hopes out of this kind of sense of humanity. I guess there's some scientists that, like I remember there's a interview with a guy who invented Prozac, right? And he was asked, like, well, what do you feel about, all the people you're helping, having invented it? He was just like, I thought it was kind of a fun thing to tinker with in the lab. It was just kind of an interesting problem. Like, he didn't even think about it. It didn't occur to him. And it turns out these SSRI antidepressants aren't so great once you actually look at all the data that the drug companies have quietly shelved with the publication bias. But so so it's not science for science sake, but for those who really want to get a better understanding of the world so they can help their fellow man, those are who I look up to.
Okay. Personal habit that when you took it on in your life, you noticed a big change in everything about your life, the quality of your life. What's that one thing that you do every day? Or when you started doing X, Y, and Z, you noticed that, man, my life is better.
So here I was, the hypocrite. Here I am telling people to eat and live healthfully, but I wasn't getting exercise. And that's because I just was so driven to, I can't jog and type at the same time. And so it's like a lost opportunity to actually get this work out into the world. And so then I discovered treadmill desks. So I walk while I work. And so end up actually walking like 17 miles a day. It was like 27 kilometers or so.
Every day?
Every day. Well, when I'm home and not sitting on my butt in an airplane somewhere. But, when I'm home, actually I have control over my life. And I mean, it's really slow. I mean, it's just a few, it's like 2.5 miles an hour, but just so I can still type. But you'd be amazed, I don't know, if you talk to somebody while you're walking or something, it's like 40 minutes go by. You don't even recognize, you forget you're walking, because you're deeply engrossed in the conversation. You're like, I just walked 40 minutes, right? And it's the same kind of thing. Like, you get lost in your work, you don't even realize you're walking. And so you get all this exercise. So it turns out that prolonged sitting is actually not good for you. So 6 hours of sitting increases mortality, even if then after work you go out, independent of exercise, even if you go out to the gym an hour afterwards, think you're a really active person, that prolonged sitting actually has negative consequences. Now we're starting to understand why. So these population studies suggest it's bad. So now I get to exercise and I get to, that's been huge. And so it's hard for me to sit down anymore. I mean, I get frustrated with the ability, and it's one of my favorite things. Burned through a few motors already. But I love it. Would never go back. In fact, I want to. That was no, it's just been so beautiful out in DC. And so when it's beautiful outside, I really miss being outside because I get no fresh air. I get no fresh air. And I was thinking, if there's like a screened-in porch or something where I could I could put it on wheels and wheel it out on the porch or something to work outside. There's the glare on the laptop. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but I was dreaming on how maybe if I get a spare, I could actually enjoy some weather. So actually very low, and I just got my vitamin D levels tested. And I'm really low in D, even though I'm following my own recommendations to take 2,000 international units of vitamin D a day. But that's for people who get some sun. I'm stuck inside all day long, getting zero sun. I'm like one of these institutionalized elderly that have severe vitamin D deficiency that get no sun despite all this. So I actually bumped my own vitamin D intake up just recently. But yeah, so there's still some things I can improve. I can improve my sleep. I can improve all sorts of other things. But I finally got the exercise component down. I'm excited. So I actually recommend In the book, 90 minutes of moderate exercise a day. And so...
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Well, I mean, that's just what the science shows. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get... I'm just saying, look, any is better than none. Just like healthy eating, right? You eat one more apple than you're eating right now, that is a healthy thing, right? Even if, technically, if you ate actually more than one apple, it would be even better for you. But look, any amount of exercise is good. It's anywhere on the spectrum towards eating healthier, living healthier is better. But yeah, the science does show it's actually very similar to what you see in the dietetics literature. You look at the exercise physiology literature. In the States, the government comes out to be about 21 minutes a day of exercise. Like they give it by the week, but that's where it about comes out to. But if you look at the science, so does the science say, 21 is like the sweet spot? No, it shows that 20 definitely, but in fact 10 minutes a day, you can actually benefits over none. But a half an hour is better than 20, 45 is better, 60 is better than 45, and 90 minutes is better than an hour in terms of longevity. And what about more than 90? Actually, there's not been enough people to study to actually categorize people in a higher group. Not that many people exercise 7 days a week, 90 minutes a day. So we don't know. Maybe more is better, maybe more, we don't know. But the science, the best available balance of evidence says 90 minutes is best. So why don't they just say that? They say, look, any is better than nothing, but the science says you live longest if you, that is what the powers that be should be saying. Give people the science, let people make up their own mind. But the same thing with diet. We have to moderate the message, come up with some kind of compromise diet, soft pedal the message. And with this patronizing attitude, you don't care enough about yourself or your family to make these changes, so we're going to give you this kind of watered down message of, drink less soda. No, don't drink any soda. You don't have to take that advice, but the advice really is for your best health. Really, no soda is probably really on a day-to-day basis, right? On a regular routine basis. No, that's really the best, right? But they can't say that for whatever. Same thing with exercise. It comes up with this no, we don't want to scare people away, then they won't do anything. So we got to come up with some kind of middle number. No, give us, that's my life.
Yeah, you're the scientist.
My mission.
Give me the numbers.
I will give you the number. Then do whatever you want.